Good morning, everyone. Give our folks a chance to grab seats here. But good morning. We are very excited to welcome you back to our Martin Luther King citywide celebration and day of service. I'm Rich Macheski, Superintendent of the Troy School District.
And good morning, I'm Ethan Baker, the Mayor of the City of Troy. And this event is a wonderful opportunity for us to come together as a community and honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We have a fantastic program for you this morning featuring the Troy School District students and staff.
First, however, we'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank a few local businesses and organizations who have sponsored today's events. Please join me in a round of applause for the companies you see listed on the screens behind us. Their donations bring us together as a community in the spirit of service and make this day a possibility.
I would also like to acknowledge members of our Troy City Council who are here with us this morning. Mayor Pro Tem Ellen Hoderick is here, Council members Teresa Brooks, Rebecca Chamberlain-Krienga, Harak Chanda, and of course I would like to recognize our Director of Community Affairs, it says Relations, sorry. Director of Community Affairs, Cindy Stewart, who helps organize this day. Some of our city staff, thank you everybody. I also get the pleasure of recognizing our County Commissioner, Ann Erickson Galt, who joins us this morning, also used to be on council, so good to see you, Ann.
We also have members of our Board of Education in attendance here today. I'd like to recognize President Carl Schmidt, our Vice President, Dr. Nicole Wilson, and Trustee Vitel Anin. Thank you for being here today. Also in attendance today, we have State Representatives Sharon McDonald and Tom Kuhn. Thank you both for being here. As well as State Senator, Mike Weber. Mike, thanks for being here. And finally, we're very pleased to have Congresswoman Haley Stevens, who will be sharing a few words later in the program. Congresswoman, thank you for being here. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the members of our Superintendent Student Advisory Board who helped plan and execute this event. Our SABB students can be found in the royal blue shirts. You'll hear from some of them, our executive board, a little later in the program. These students worked very hard to make this day a success. Can I have my SSAB students stand up so you can see them? Can't miss them. They're in Lions blue today. We planned it that way. Knew there was going to be a victory. So thank you all, students, for being here. I'd like to also just quickly recognize Kendra Montanti. Kendra is our Director of Communications and Strategic Initiatives. And Kendra is new to the school district, has been with us a semester. She is just an outstanding ambassador for the Troy School District. So Kendra, thank you so much for all your work in helping put this program together. Thanks, Kendra. And finally, a quick shout out to Caitlin Weaver McGurka, who is a supervisor who helps get all of the logistics here together. So thank you, Caitlin, as well as Linda Alfonso and Judy Holmes, who helped work so hard to put this program together. Thank you all.
We also want to thank you, our friends and neighbors, students, and senior citizens for coming out this morning, especially in this weather, because this day is about bringing our community together. Today is a day to celebrate Dr. King's life and also to follow his lead by performing acts of service for others. I am proud to be part of this day and to see so many of you coming together to be part of something bigger than any one of us.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. You know, the right path to change is necessary, but it must first start with the change we wish to see. The kind of change communities need during challenging times has peace at its core. We've been on this path for a long time, but it is necessary because the work is never ending. So many people have helped us to get to where we are now. And it's going to take many, many more for us to continue to evolve in the right direction. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was a major influence of change, especially in Black, brown, disenfranchised, and hurting communities. And his spirit is still alive. He believed in equality and handled difference with tranquility. With us, with his guidance, the path to change is ambitious. Gandhi, who was one of Dr. King's influencers, said, "You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops in the ocean are dirty, the ocean doesn't become dirty. That just means we need to work harder." It is very unfortunate that some do not embrace peace and are still filled with hatred. But positive change, yes, positive change doesn't come from bystanders. It doesn't come from violence either. It comes from people who will stand up. Action that includes us speaking up. Our voices have such an impact because the more people speak up and stand up, the more the influences spread across our world. Once we get the change we wish to see, we must work hard to maintain it. We have to be willing to work hard so our generation and the generation after them and the generation after them can abide in peace. Let us remember, like Gandhi said, our greatest ability is not to change the world, it's to change ourselves.
As Dr. King stated, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. It's a message that resonates, with us as we gather here, and it's a message that several of our students took time to reflect on in their artwork, photography, essays, and poetry. Today, we want to acknowledge the winners of our MLK student contest. Students utilized this quote to inspire their entries and share with us where they stand in times of challenge and controversy.
Okay. Student contest winners, if you are here, please come to the stage when we call your name to receive your prize. In the category of portfolio piece, including artwork or photograph, our winners are Niralya Deepak from Leonard Elementary School, and Akriti Mahesh from Baker Middle School. Congratulations. Thank you both for sharing your talent with us. It's a long walk.
Our contest winners for written pieces include essay style and poem. We'll be sharing their winning entries by reading them for us this morning. Please welcome Yuvan Karthik Kadala from Was Elementary School to the stage.
Hi everyone, and today I'm going to be talking about Martin Luther King, getting to know a legend. The difference between an ordinary person and an extraordinary person is the little extra. Someone who watches injustice and does nothing versus someone who takes action to change it and stand up in times of challenge. Someone who is willing to run that extra mile to make the world a better place. One such extraordinary person is our Martin Luther King Jr. King was born in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15, 1929. As a boy, it saddened him that he could not befriend people who were not black. He believed that people could look different on the outside, but their character is what makes a person valuable. This inspired him to take action, and when he did, he changed the United States as well as the world. He eventually became the leader of the civil rights movement. When Rosa Parks was arrested, Dr. King played a key role in the Montgomery bus boycott. He led peaceful protests and led the movement to end segregation. Then he visited India, where he met with the followers of Mahatma Gandhi, who used peaceful protests to demand independence. The trip strengthened King's belief in nonviolence. In 1963, King led a huge protest called the March on Washington. There, he delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, said King. King was assassinated in 1968. We still remember him as a civil rights legend who fought for justice through peaceful protests and delivered one of 20th century's best speeches. To honor King's memory, in the United States, his birthday is observed as a national holiday. We can use this holiday to keep King's dream alive by doing acts of service, which can be giving your time for the community, making blankets for the people in need, choosing peaceful methods over violence, and setting an example for equality. It always bothered me that lots of us in our community are unaware of how are we polluting and wasting water. Inspired by King's words, "The time is always right to do what's right," I wanted to make a difference. So I started taking smaller showers, saving energy around the house, recycling, and biking to school instead of car. After a while, I came along an opportunity to do more, an art competition at Pure Oakland Water. Researching ways to save water and climate, I created art to bring the change I wanted to see. When my art got published in calendars, I gave the calendars to people around me to spread the word. All these little things count. So be inspired by Martin Luther King Jr. and see what a big impact you can make on our community and help the people around us.
Congratulations, and thank you, Yvonne. Now join me in congratulating and welcoming Joel Chris from Smith Middle School to the stage.
Good morning. My entry is called Being the Change. One of the most famous equality influencers in the world, Martin Luther King Jr. has said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. I see and know that this quote is absolutely appropriate throughout certain situations in our everyday lives. One challenge I see that we as a community is facing is rude, rough, or inappropriate language. In school, I often hear rumors about my classmates. Some others even take it to the extent of swearing at each other and being disrespectful. Some kids make fun of each other simply because they think they will become popular and well-known. It would be easy for me and the other kids to join with the impolite behavior and make fun of our peers. Instead, we try to stand up for them and not join with the inappropriate behavior. We all know that the right thing to do is not to bully other students. This was a very difficult challenge I overcame in my years. I learned a lot from my experiences. I understood that doing the right thing when you have the choice to do bad and when no one else is watching is called justice, willpower, and your true strength. I also learned that if you do the right thing while your parents, teachers, and friends are watching and do the opposite when they aren't, that doesn't define you as a nice person. You really have to fight the urge not to be popular or have a lot of friends by the means of being a bully. I learned that there is always a right thing to do, even when all others seem to be doing the opposite. Martin Luther King, a bold, peaceful legend, one of the greatest equality influencers on earth. His nonviolent ways of protesting, speaking, and writing has led the world to view all persons from the perspective of equality. Martin Luther King fought for peace and equality without violence, even when his house was bombed. He wanted every single person to be treated with respect, kindness, and fairness. Martin Luther King has shaped me to treat everyone as I would like to be treated, to give everyone the respect and acknowledgement that he or she deserves, and the power to see that the people all around us have an amazing skill set, which will one day become the source of positive changes in our communities and the world. If our communities embrace the diversity of the people around us and learn to accept that everyone can become a unique, positive change, then the world will one day become just as Martin Luther King imagined when he said his "I have a dream" speech. This is the way I hope to affect the communities around us and the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Lastly, please help me congratulate and welcome Gugan Karthikeyan from IA East to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Here's my poem, Those Suffering Will Prosper. I see parents staying up at night hours, making food for their daughters. Pots and pans clink as they shape a world around her. I see a soldier, a gun tucked under his arm, running across the battlefield, gunshots sonorous around him. Gunfire echoes, an unsettling symphony in the dead of night. I see a doctor moving swiftly over the red raw burns of a patient, active laid into the star-strewn sky, calming whispers, healing those wounded. I see a caretaker earning few pennies and dollars, making sure those after won't have to. He paves the way for futures yet to be born. I see an artist, brushstrokes sweeping a night sky, making dreams that soar sky high. I see a teacher grading papers under a dimming light, sparking intellects, brightening the night. I see a musician, fingers dancing across strings and keys, creating harmonies that put hearts at ease. I see a scientist in a lab, exploring the unknown of unknown, chasing answers, and seeds are sown. I see a writer, scratching pens on paper as the clock ticks away, crafting worlds, imagination holding sway. I see an astronaut drifting in chilled dead space, exploring worlds beyond us, putting lives at home at peace. Those in pain will come to a greater gain. Those who hope will be given something to hope for. And those who work for the greater good will be a part of it. Worlds will be made, peace will come, and those suffering will prosper. Thank you.
Thank you, Gugan. These students demonstrated what Dr. King preached, that we all can make a difference through acts big and small. And I don't know about you, Rich, and adults in the room, don't you feel a little better about the future of our society when you hear what these kids are saying to us? It really means a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you, of course, to all the students who submitted entries to the MLK contest. At this time, please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Haley Stevens to the stage.
Wow. Distinguished Mayor, Superintendent, members of the Troy Athens and Troy High School and broader Troy schools faculty, distinguished members of the City Council, as well as state representatives and state senator, and to so many phenomenal members of our community. To the SSAB, thank you for being a best practice. It is really quite significant and humbling to celebrate Martin Luther King Day, isn't it? I think as your member of Congress, it is quite humbling to stand before all of you in his honor. 95 years old is what he would be today. It really wasn't that long ago. This day asks so much of us. Why do we celebrate Martin Luther King Day? Why is this a national holiday, a day of service? I really want to recognize the Troy community for being a best practice of service. And I truly want to recognize and honor our students who make this day so special as a day of service. It's remarkable what you put together here at Troy Athens. This is one of my favorite Martin Luther King days in our district, and I am overjoyed to be with all of you. We can stand up here and quote Martin Luther King. We could almost quote him till the end of time. His amazing way with words. Life's most pressing and urgent question is, what are we doing for others? And as I stand here before you on the heels of what begins another legislative week in Washington, it can be all eyes on us as, yes, Mr. Mayor, we're working to pass that budget. I know you rely on that here for the city of Troy. I get to return to our nation's capital with every zip code in our country represented. And I get to brag about who we are. And I get to brag about all of you. I'm requesting copies of each student presentation because those written words, those poetry, those works of poetry, those works of prose were just truly magnificent. But I want you all to take a minute and to reflect on what a remarkable community Troy is. Service, equity, change, inclusion, incredible diversity, rich traditions, and yet we have the privilege to come here together today. And this isn't to say that all of our work is tied up in a bow and it's done and we should just celebrate. No, the words of Martin Luther King and the challenge and the charge that he made to this country, and that is why we have such a big statue of his in the nation's capital, compels us to continue to act as young people, to make contributions to our community, to serve, to ensure that the next generation has a path to success, that we have truly equal opportunity for all. And so I want to thank you very humbly for participating in today, and to say that this shouldn't just be one day only, that the work that we are engaging in here today carries out through the rest of the year. So SSAB, I'll be watching, I'll be engaged as much as you'll let me be engaged, and know that we will continue to move this country forward through equity, through change, and through service. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Representative Stevens, for your very impactful words. We appreciate you being here this morning, and she did send me a message over the weekend, so excited that she gets to come back to Troy Athens to do this event. It is very special in your district, I know for a fact. So, at this time, please join me in welcoming students from the Black Student Union at Troy High and Athens to the stage. They will be leading us in a call and response.
Thank you, Mayor Baker. We ask that you let the words of Dr. King resonate with you in joining us in upholding his legacy through a call and response. We'll read the call and you guys will respond with the response. As we embark on this MLK Service Day, let's channel the spirit of unity in action.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
To foster belonging and social change, let us pledge to break down barriers and build bridges of understanding.
We must concentrate on positive affirmation of peace.
As Dr. King envisioned, let's embrace servant leadership, recognizing that true leadership is found in the service of others.
Make a career of humanity. Commit yourself to equality for all.
Thank you, BSU students. I have no doubt that together, our voices can make a difference and that we can make this world an even better place for all of us. Please welcome to the stage our Supervisor for Educational Equity, Inclusion, and Community Relations, Dr. Chantel Yancey.
Student leadership is a driving force for positive transformation in education, equity, and social change. It not only amplifies the voices of students, but also cultivates a culture of inclusivity, empowerment, and collective responsibility that is essential for creating a more just and equitable educational system and society at large. I would like for you to hear from another important student leadership group, the Student Equity Council.
Student Equity Council was originally started by a few students when we were in junior year. We were just talking about different issues that we saw in our communities and how we could combat them. In these environments, in the schools that we go to, the culture that exists within that should be one that supports us to be all our best. And if you're constantly in an environment where you're being putting down others because you think it's normal, it's not necessarily the best way to grow. And in that, we decided that we need to raise our voices for things that we see and different things that are said, even if it's small and people don't think that it's as big of a thing. By doing that, we gathered a bunch of different students already, and we decided that a lot of the time student voices are underrepresented, and it is our job to fix that, and we need to advocate for what we want.
Our district is so diverse, and just making sure that everyone has equal opportunities, feels welcome. That's just important to me, especially being a student of color, just feeling accepted everywhere I go, whether that be a sports team, club, or even just in the classroom. And this year we really just brought it to the table with where everybody belongs, and I'm hoping that we can continue that mission even after I graduate, and we just continue making Troy a great place to be.
I chose to be a leader for equity here with the Troy School District because I believe that any place should be a safe place for all people, and this is coming from my own personal experience and from my empathy as a human being. With this council, I'm able to make students have equal opportunities that they may not have had in the past because they might be a part of a disadvantaged group. And I always wanted to help people, so I can do this here, and I'm very happy to be part of this council.
In order to achieve our goals with the Student Equity Council, we hope to expand from just our Executive Council, which we have right now, into a larger General Assembly with larger representation from the rest of the high schools. As well as farther into the future, we hope to also expand into middle school and elementary schools in order to make sure that we have representation from all Troy schools in order to achieve our goals.
It's important to reach out to those younger students because as high schoolers, we have kind of more clubs and we have more opportunities like SEC for us to be involved in, but it's important for us to outreach to those middle schools, to those elementary schools, so we can see how those students feel about their current environment, because I feel like that starts empowerment, that starts inclusivity, that starts equity in general, and that's what SEC strives for. So we want to make sure that outreach is for all students in the district and not just, those who they're not feeling their love as much as everyone else. So that's what we want to make sure we're doing.
As we have just seen, One Choice Student Leadership is leading the charge in thriving. Let's give a round of applause again for all of our student leaders. Today, as we gather in the spirit of unity and reflection on this MLK Day of Service, I am deeply honored to stand before you to celebrate the legacy of a man whose words and actions continue to resonate through the corridors of time. Through our acts of service and kindness, we live and lead out loud his legacy. Dr. King's quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of convenience and comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy," serves as the guiding light for our reflections today. In the heart of our educational environment, these words become poignant reminders of the profound impact we can have on one another and the world around us. As we look around this gathering space, we see faces filled with so much promise of the future and of students, the heartbeat of the community, who represent the diversity, strength, and potential that defines our shared journey through education. Dr. King's teachings call us to create an environment where every student feels a sense of hope and belonging, a place where they are empowered to stand tall, even in the face of adversity. Hope is a flame that should burn brightly in our hearts. Dr. King was a beacon of hope during tumultuous times, and his words challenge us and inspire us to have that same hope within our students. We must foster an environment where hope is not just a fleeting emotion, but a steadfast companion on their journey of learning and growth. It is in the nurturing of hope that we equip our students with resilience and the courage to strive for a better tomorrow. Belonging is the foundation upon which One Troy stands. It is the tapestry of our diverse backgrounds, experiences, dreams. We find strength in all of those. Dr. King's dream of unity and collective humanity should echo in our classrooms, hallways, and our common spaces. Each student, each educator, each member of our community plays an integral role, contributing unique threads to the rich fabric of our shared purpose. Today, as we honor Dr. King's legacy, let us also reflect and hold high the concept of servant leadership, a philosophy that emphasizes the importance of leading and service to others. Dr. King's life exemplified this principle, and he showed us that true leadership is found not in the pursuit of power, but in selfless service to others. Our roles as educators is not only to impart knowledge, but to serve as mentors, guides, and advocates for the well-being and success of every student. In the face of challenges and controversies, let us be the leaders who stand with our students, showing them the way forward with compassion and understanding. Through our actions, we have the power to shape a generation of servant leaders who, like Dr. King, will strive for justice, equality, and positive change. As we commemorate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, let us recommit ourselves to the principles of hope, belonging, and servant leadership. During Dr. King's dreams, make sure that his dreams live on. And in our collective efforts to create an educational environment that empowers every individual to embrace this with courage and to stand firm, of course, in those moments of controversy. Together, let us be the architects of the future, where the ultimate measure of our community is one of compassion, understanding, and unwavering support for one another. Thank you all for your time and for your service today. Let's move forward together toward a brighter future and a more just future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yancey, for your impactful words. On behalf of the Superintendent Student Advisory Board, thank you for joining us today as we bond together to serve others. We want to provide you with some details about the next portion of this day of service, our service projects.
We have several service projects set up for you, most of which are in the main gym. When you leave the auditorium, you will find maps directing you towards our service projects. Service projects can be completed in any order you choose. If one of the service projects is crowded, please move on to another one.
If you are willing to donate blood, our blood drive will take place in the east deck above the main gym. There are signs showing the way, or you can always ask someone in a royal blue shirt.
In the gym, we will be tying fleece blankets for those in need, assembling hope bracelet making kits for the children at Grace Centers of Hope, creating cards of joy for the elderly, and painting kindness rocks to spread joy throughout our community.
If you choose to paint a kindness rock, please make sure to take it home with you before you leave. The goal of the kindness rocks is to give them to someone who could use a kind word or leave them for someone to find in our community. Please do not leave your rocks in the grass where they could damage a lawnmower. Instead, we suggest leaving them in a flower bed or in a common space where they can be found easily.
We are also collecting coats, hats, and mittens for the Grace Centers of Hope. Please put all your donations in the bins which are located in the cafeteria. If you have any questions throughout the day, please find one of us in a royal blue shirt. We are here to help.
We also have important paper banners on the wall to the left when you enter the gym. Please take a moment to sign our 2024 MLK banner.
We are so excited to share this day of service together. We hope that you move through this day with compassion, empathy, and respect. Please take your time exiting the auditorium. Now, let's go work together to spread Dr. King's legacy and make a positive impact.
The safest place in the whole wide world is in the will of God. Trials come, great and small, just stay in the will of God. Come what may, from day to day, keep the faith and be still. It remains to be seen what God can do.